All right, guys, we got ourselves some new drama regarding the Brett Cooper versus Reagan Conrad saga. Obviously, for those who don't know, Brett Cooper leaves the Daily Wire. Her maid of honor at her wedding, Reagan Conrad, takes her place, turns into this whole thing. Most of you guys are familiar with that story, but now we have a new update. Reagan Conrad's cousin, and this is actually her real cousin, came and spoke on TikTok for about 10 minutes. And the title of the video is The Truth About Brett Cooper Leaving the Daily Wire. Going to be more of a reaction video. I'm going to play what she said. I'm going to give my honest thoughts about it as somebody who's been covering this Brett Cooper drama over the last few weeks. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Here we go.
Over the past week or so, I have watched the internet completely rip my cousin to shreds over something that is the furthest thing from her fault, and I've watched the one person who should have been in her corner and could have changed the narrative sit back and stay completely silent. So I, for one, am not going to stay silent, and I'm about to tell you exactly what happened. I suggest that you listen to this video, and in fact, even share this around, because this needs to be spoken about and Reagan's name needs to be cleared. I'm Riley Conrad, and my cousin is Reagan Conrad, who works for the Daily Wire and is the current host of the comments section on YouTube. The previous host was Brett Cooper. If you're unaware, the internet, especially Brett Cooper stans, have been up in arms over the fact that Brett Cooper recently decided to leave. There's been a lot of speculation over what happened, why did Brett leave. The speculation unfortunately turned into rumors, and then the rumors were taken and ran with. And then my cousin just began to get hated on. And it's actually crazy the things that people are saying. And I want to set the record straight because unfortunately, while Reagan and Brett were best friends, Brett has just sat back and watched this happen to Reagan. And in fact, she removed all of her posts with Reagan on Instagram and eventually unfollowed her too, which obviously made the internet even more skeptical of Reagan. And it's just plain wrong because Reagan has done absolutely nothing but support Brett her.
All right, well, she's taking a long time to get to the point, but I'll just give my comments right there. Obviously, if she unfollowed and deleted all the photos of your cousin, Reagan, obviously she feels some type of way about the most obvious thing, which we all know. It's pretty obvious to figure out why she's upset. She leaves a show that she built from scratch and made it into what it is, and her so-called best friend is replacing her. Yeah, that's going to make anybody upset. It's your show. You worked hard and built it up. And you and the network are not on good terms or whatever. You guys aren't getting along. You can't agree on contract money, whatever it would have been. And you decide to leave. And instead of your maid of honor coming with you, which is what Reagan should have did, that's the other thing that doesn't make any sense. If Brett's leaving, why don't you go with her? You're her best friend. You're supposed to go with her and be her producer and keep the thing going. That is the perfect match. Not everybody is meant to be a star. Not everybody is meant to be a number one. Sometimes you got to play your role. Brett is obviously the star, once in a generation, lifetime, whatever you want to call it. A very talented content creator. You very rarely see somebody with her talent. Obviously, we now know Reagan is meant to be a number two. How do we know this? Let's go look at the recent performance of the comment section, okay? As a matter of fact, the last video she posted, besides this one, she just posted a video an hour ago, but the last video she posted a day ago is Zuck Officially Uncut, which is such a weird title, by the way. I completely understand why this video didn't get views. It's a weird title. But anyway, this has got to be the worst performing video in like years for this channel. Seriously, when Brett was on this channel, at least over the last few years, she never had a video that got 29,000 views. 29,000 views? I got videos that got 29,000 views, and I got 20,000 subscribers. You got 4 million. That's insane. So obviously we could clearly see you're not meant to be a number one. There's nothing wrong with that. You are perfectly fine being a producer, being the number two. If you have issues about pay, I feel like if you and Brett Cooper were best friends, I mean, for crying out loud, you were the maid of honor at her wedding, you should have had those discussions like, hey, can we talk about me possibly getting paid more in the future? Or maybe I start my own side YouTube channel. You kind of help me build that. Something like that could have worked. But no, instead, she leaves. You take her place at the Daily Wire. Of course, as the main host of the comment section, of course she's going to get upset about that. That's exactly what it is. No doubt about it. Let's go back.
Entire career at the Daily Wire so far, it's rubbing me the wrong way. I'm about to talk. Here's what really happened. Brett chooses to leave over reasons that legally I don't believe I am allowed to say, so I'm not going to touch on them. And honestly, that's Brett's story. But moral of the story, Brett decided to leave. 100% Brett's decision. And Brett said that herself, although people aren't believing that. I do understand the circumstances are a little weird, but Brett chose to leave. That is what you need to know. And the rest of the story I'm about to tell you. So here's where Reagan's part comes in. Reagan...
We don't believe it because it doesn't make any sense. Why would you leave a show that you built? You started off when you were like a college student or whatever. I think she was like 18 or 19, or she was really, really young. She's still young, but why would you leave a show that you built? You built the show from the bottom up and made it into what it is. Why would you leave that? That's why people don't believe it when the rumors are, or that she says that, oh, I chose to leave. Like, no, there's more to the story. You may have chosen to leave, but what are the circumstances that caused you to leave? That's the key thing. And the reason why we don't believe it is because we're smart enough to know there are obviously circumstances that caused her to make the decision to leave. But ultimately, had it been up to her, she probably would have rather stayed and continued to do the show that she built up. It just makes perfect sense.
Was the producer of the comments section. Like I said, they were best friends. So whenever Brett decides to leave, Brett recommends to the Daily Wire that Reagan step in and be the substitute host for a period of time. So Reagan, with her friend's blessing, decides that she is going to do this, and she loved it. Reagan has always loved the Daily Wire. While Brett decided to step away, Reagan has always really enjoyed her time there, and I personally have witnessed how much Reagan loves to do research on Republican media. She loves all things Republican news. So this was perfect for her. I've watched her grow and flourish with the Daily Wire, and she has literally just stepped into each position full force, and she absolutely loved her time being able to be the substitute host. However, that being said, Reagan wanted them to continue searching for other hosts that could actually step in full time. So she's the substitute host while they're doing this search, and they decided they didn't like any of the other host options. They wanted Reagan. So the Daily Wire reaches out and offers the position to Reagan.
And that was one of the worst decisions they ever made. Let's go back to the channel. Let's go all the way back to when Brett Cooper first left. Right here. Jay-Z accused. That's when Brett Cooper left. This has to be the largest decline of views for a big channel in YouTube history. I've never seen anything like this. You went from getting 1.4 million views and 600,000 views and 500,000 views. But let's just stick with the 1.4 million. Last video with Brett Cooper, you went from 1.4 million views to just a few weeks later, you got 29,000 views on a video. That is an unbelievable collapse. That is a fireable offense. If you're the CEO of this company, whoever made this decision, maybe it was the CEO of themselves, but whoever made this decision should be fired. Fired immediately. You made one big mistake that completely collapsed a 4 million subscribed to channel that was getting an insane amount of views, plenty of sponsorships, making a lot of money. You single-handedly tanked this entire channel that you took years to build up and get to 4 million subscribers because you made the wrong decision and you got lazy. Instead of finding a real star, which there's plenty of them out here, you decided, let's just stay in-house, probably because you knew you could pay this girl a little bit less. Because, yeah, it'll be a jump in her salary because she's just a producer. So it'll be a jump for her, but it'll be less than what we'll have to pay an actual star out there on social media, because more than likely an actual star that they would have to pick up that already has a name is probably not going to settle for the cheap route or getting lowballed. They're going to want their money. So they decided on this girl. Backfired immensely. Last 4 videos, 96,000 views, 41,000 views, 29,000 views. You went from 500,000 views a video to you're struggling to get 100K views. No excuse for that one. That's unbelievable.
Now Reagan is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Brett has told Reagan that she wants Reagan to come with her, to leave the Daily Wire with her. And she told her that she could be her producer. However, that being said, it would be months before Brett knew of what she wanted Reagan to exactly be doing. It would be months until Reagan got paid by Brett. And also, Reagan would not be getting as much pay from Brett, that's for sure. The Daily Wire is able to pay her a great sum of money. Brett wouldn't be able to pay her quite as much. While Brett is doing quite well for herself, it wouldn't be able to be quite as much. So Reagan would be taking a significant pay cut. Now, my cousin is doing fantastic in life, but I don't know about you. Most people cannot just take several months off of work and then also take a massive pay cut when they have expenses. So, all of that considered, along with the fact that Reagan loves what she's doing, she believes in the Daily Wire, and she really enjoys being in front of the camera. She loves it. You can watch, guys. Like, everybody's like.
So here's the deal. I don't think people have an issue with, hold on a second. Sorry, my computer was about to die. I don't think people have an issue with Reagan. How do I say this? I think the main issue people have is you're like a Brett Cooper clone. You're trying so hard to be like her with the same mannerisms and the hand gestures and the same cadence and everything like that. And you're just not her. I think that's the biggest reason that people have. What her cousin just said just now makes perfect sense. If this is true, you're saying you're not going to be paid as much. You love your job at the Daily Wire right now. So what I would say is, well, here's what you probably should have did. You should have first spoken to Brett about it and told Brett, hey, I don't want to cross you. You're my best friend, but I need you to understand something. The reason why I am taking this job, not reason why I am taking this job, I'm letting you know, Brett, I want to take this job because they are throwing an insane amount of money at me. I've never made this kind of money ever in my life, but I can't do it without your blessing. That's what you should have probably did. I don't know if that conversation took place, but I feel like that's what should have happened. And if Brett says, I don't really feel comfortable about this, like that was my show, like I made it, then if I were Reagan, I would say, hey, Daily Wire, I want this to work, but now you got to work with me. Brett is still my best friend, so you're putting me in a tough spot. She does not want me to take over the comment section. So here's my proposal. Let's just start a new channel with me. You believe in me? You think I got what it takes to do this? Let's start a new channel. I think that was the biggest problem that everybody had. And the Daily Wire made this huge mistake as well. Brett Cooper is the comment section. That's it. It's her. You might as well replace the comment section with just Brett. That's it. It's her. And that's the mistake that both parties made. So it's not necessarily that Reagan took the job. It's the way she went about it. Obviously, you rubbed Brett Cooper the wrong way, and we all can pretty much guess what happened. The Daily Wire probably threw so much money at her, more money than she's ever made in her life. She's like, oh, heck yeah, I'm taking that. Sold. You know the whole old saying, everybody has a price? They met her price. Everybody has a price. You offer somebody the right price, you'll be surprised at what they do. Well, guess what? They offered Reagan that price, and she turned her her own best friend. That's what happened. We know that's what happened. No doubt about it. We could piece this stuff together. It makes perfect sense.
Accusing her of having acting classes, I can tell you, that is how Reagan's always been. That's how she's always spoken. Yes, maybe they have some of the same mannerisms. They've been best friends. Who of you has a best friend and doesn't start kind of talking like them? You usually have the same lingo. So the acting classes...
Nope, this is different. I got a best friend right now. Him and I have been best friends since second grade. I've known this man for over 20-something years. Literally since we were babies, since we were young kids. Him and I, yes, we may say the same slang. We like the same things. Yes, like some certain words, like inside jokes. Yes, we both have that. We'll do that. But him and I are nothing alike. We are completely different. We do not talk the same. We do not act the same. We do not have the same mannerisms. So I just don't agree with that. Maybe some people might disagree. But when I look at Reagan versus Brett Cooper, it really looks like she's trying to be like her. If I replace myself on camera with my best friend, you would easily be able to tell it's two different people. I can't be like him even if I tried. He can't be like me even if he tried. We're just two different people. We're best friends. We are interested in a lot of the same stuff, but we're not the same person. We can't be. So I disagree with her on that one. That's just a terrible defense.
This is rumor. It's just that. It's a rumor. Reagan has never had acting classes. She literally just does speak that way. That's how she is. Anyways, you can tell she loves it. She loves being in front of the camera. So she decides, even though she
Don't matter if you love being in front of the camera if you suck. There's plenty of people who love being in front of the camera. There's plenty of people who love to make music. There's plenty of people who love to sing. Plenty of people who love to rap. Plenty of people who love to play basketball. That don't mean you should be doing it at a high level on a major network, getting paid a lot of money on a 4 million subscriber channel if you suck. Like, this is ridiculous. It doesn't matter what she likes. That's great that she likes it and loves it. Not good at it. Maybe if you started your own channel, we would have been able to figure out if you were good, but because you tried to fill in the shoes of Brett Cooper, it looks like you suck. Because you tried to fill in for somebody who's way better than you at what they do. And it backfired completely.
she's between a rock and a hard place and does not want to offend Brett, she decides to take the position because she's meant for it, guys. I don't know how to explain to you. I've watched Reagan grow over the course of her time.
She was not meant for it. Look at these views. She was not meant for it. Probably could have put me here. No, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but the views she's getting, seriously, you probably could have put me here. I probably could have did better. Like, Jesus. Like, I'm pretty sure she has like a script too, and she's got all the fancy edit. There's a lot of YouTubers you could have put here instead of her. So stop it.
Time there. And she used to be so afraid to speak up about her views. She actually came to me at one point when I was starting to do social media and I was always talking about being a Republican and talking about my views. She came to me and said, Rye, how do you do that? Like, how do you unashamedly talk about your views and not worry about offending people? And I was just like, you can't worry about it. Like, you got to be true to yourself. She grew from that over the course of the Daily Wire, being able to completely speak up about her feelings, speak up about what she knows, and be such a solid voice for Republicans, especially young female Republicans. She is a huge voice and makes a massive impact. Even as producer, she was doing that behind the scenes. She was doing that on her Instagram stories. So those of you accusing her of just stealing this role, she's meant for it. You just haven't given her a chance. So, Thanksgiving.
Oh no, we gave her a chance. She sucks. 1.4 million views? 400,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. Oh God, oh no, 58,000, 86,000, 79,000. And then, oh, it gets worse. 41,000, 29,000. Who knows how many this is going to get? Like, oh no, she got a chance. She sucks.
Comes around and Reagan is dealing with this, do I take it, do I not? She wanted to take it so badly. But you should have seen us in the basement of my grandparents' house, her being an emotional wreck, not wanting to upset Brett. That was her only concern. And I said, take away Brett's feelings. What would you do? And she said, I would take it. I would love to take it.
Her cousin's a terrible friend. This is just me giving my honest opinion. The fact that her cousin just said what she just said, that's you're not a good friend at all. Because let's take me. Like I said, I just told you guys, I got a best friend that I've known since second grade, right? If I was in this position, and I got offered this big role, and my best friend, I knew my best friend would be upset with me if I took this role, or at the very least would not like me taking it, like would feel some type of way. You ever heard the saying, not all money is good money? Is all that money you're getting paid worth your friendship? Obviously to Reagan it was. To me, it's not. It's not. Obviously I have the talent to be a producer here. Obviously I'm cut for it. Another opportunity will come. It's not the end of the world. But that's another thing, too. Reagan, this cousin is probably the reason for all of this. Because this cousin's giving bad advice. Well, if Brett wasn't in the picture, would you take it? Of course we would all take it. You're getting offered a lot of money. Most of us would take it. But that's what makes it so interesting. That's why it's not so easy. It's not as cut and dry and as easy as, well, if you didn't have Brett in your life and it was just you, would you take it? No, it doesn't matter. That's not the reality. The reality is Brett is in my life. This is my best friend. This is her show. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. Now that I know what we know now, based on what the cousin said, really makes me think that Reagan kind of went about this the wrong way.
But if you include Brett's feelings, she didn't want to hurt her friend. But that being said, her friend decided to step away. It's different if Reagan shoved her out. It's different if the Daily Wire forced her away. But she didn't. Brett chose to leave, and there was this open position that was then presented to Reagan as, do you want this? After multiple weeks of searching for somebody else. So, Reagan takes the position. And I said to Reagan, if Brett is a true friend, she will still be in your corner. If she is not, then she was never a true friend to begin with. I can understand Brett.
Why would she be in your corner? You're taking over her show that she built. That don't even make sense. That's like somebody, I don't even know how to explain it, but like that's like me building up the channel Echoes from Above. Let's say this channel gets to millions of subscribers, and all of a sudden a network owns my channel and I leave because they're treating me wrong, so I have no choice but to leave. And then my best friend takes something that I worked my butt off to build and build from scratch. Like, what? That don't even make sense.
Brett being hurt. I can understand Brett wanting Reagan to follow in a way, but Reagan is her own person, and she is meant for this role. You can't force people to do what you want them to do, and then if they don't do it, stop being their friend. So
all right, I think we've heard enough. That's my full reaction to this whole thing. This is ridiculous. It did give us a little bit more context into what happened, and also told her that Reagan's cousin is obviously not a good friend and very likely gave her terrible advice, which probably led to this entire situation. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.